This is Test Case Scenario with me, your host, Jason Baum. This podcast is the definitive hub for knowledge and stories in the software testing and development communities. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and let's dive straight into the episode. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Test Case Scenario. I'm your host, Jason Baum, and with me are my co-hosts and panelists, compadres. Your compadres today. Why not? Evelyn Coleman and Marcus Merrill.
How you doing?
Good, good. How are you?
Up to my neck in work, but it's a pleasure to take a break.
Sounded a really convincing, doing okay. Cool. Everybody send Marcus your love. No, welcome back, everybody. This is going to be a great episode. We've got the energy. I could feel it. Marcus is bringing the energy right now. Evelyn, you got the energy?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
How are you?
Well, I'm doing fantastic. Got my beautiful background, my grand piano, and this luscious living room. I wonder whose house this is.
I see you're in Nikolai's house.
Oh yeah, I'm in Nikolai.
Where is he? I don't see it. Is he playing piano in the background there? He's busy in the kitchen cooking up something. It's going to be a very nice vegan dish. I can't wait for it. Okay, cool. Let's get into today's episode. So today, bringing a different topic that we could get into, AI.
Yeah, certainly never talked about that before.
No, we're going to have a different take on AI. And this is a theory that I had. Sometimes we come on and we talk topics. It's been a while since we had a hot take topic episode. Usually Marcus drives those. Marcus brings his hot takes like no one wants to use your app unless it's a game. Love that one personally.
Right.
Still disagree with him, but he will hardcore fight me to the end of days on that.
I'll just reason with you.
No, he'll tell me why I'm wrong. It's okay. It's all right. I probably am. Marcus is much smarter than me. So here's my hot take episode. And you can all agree to disagree. We'll see. Maybe I'll disagree with myself. That's always fun when you talk yourself out of your own opinion. AI is not nearly as important outside of tech as we give it credit for being. I'm bringing this up because I feel like in the tech industry, for many different reasons, we're in this bubble. But I think one of the things that is currently happening in our tech world bubble is that we are talking about AI seemingly every moment, every second, consistently, all the time, every conference, every coffee chat, every conversation is, hey, we need an AI product. What are we doing for AI? Are we talking about AI? Did you hear this is happening in AI? Can you believe that this thing is going to happen? This is being released. ChatGPT 4.5, but 5 is on its way. And then look at what they're doing with video now. It's endless, right? It's just absolutely endless. And for good reason. It's amazing technology. It's going to have a huge impact on the world, whether the world's talking about it or not. But outside of the tech bubble, I have been talking to some friends, and unless they're in like certain industries that are currently being impacted, I don't think people are talking about it nearly as much as we'd like to think they are, or giving it nearly as much thought as we're giving it. And so much so that, like, I know people who have never used ChatGPT, for example. They have no clue what's going on. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's shocking, right? But they've never used it. They would, I think I logged in once, is like the answer. So are we in a bubble? Is this an AI bubble? Not from a finance standpoint, because we all know that's different. But are we in an AI information bubble, I guess?
I was actually about to say we're in two kinds of bubbles. We're in the kind of bubble where VCs throw billions and billions of dollars out of something that they're never going to see return on. And we're in a bubble where we think that this is something that everyone's talking about when in fact it's not. Two kinds of bubbles.
So you agree? You agree with that hot take?
I think I do, but possibly for slightly different reasons. But yeah, I do agree.
I would love to hear those reasons.
I want to hear from Evelyn first.
Yeah, I do agree. I agree that we're in a bubble where there are certain folks that talk about it, have an understanding of what it is, and have these discourses and dialogues. And obviously there's an even smaller bubble where people really understand what it is. And I think that the bubble can be a little bit dangerous because to people outside of the bubble, it's just a buzzword and it can be put into certain very like threatening sentences and people might not realize how helpful it could be for them, etc. So I have some takes on that. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. Okay, Marcus, do you agree for different reasons?
So I'm going to try to do 2 points here and try to make them succeed. I will fail. I'll probably forget what the second one is when I get started on the first one. What's interesting is from the financial bubble point of view, we're seeing a whole bunch of VC firms that are not trying to innovate or do anything at all with the field or create opportunities or create new products. They're trying to see if they can place a casino chip on a number and see if it hits. So if you recall, WeWork, it got how many billions of valuation, how many million, hundreds of millions of VC investment, as well as I'm saying with Uber. These are products which mimic something that has existed before and did a minor improvement on it. That minor improvement was suddenly valued at far, far, far higher than it should have been. Tesla's another example. And then in the end, it turns out to be smoke and mirrors, but nobody gets punished. The people who made the investment, they get their cash out. Who was left holding the bag? The consumer. And I feel like there was a gold rush for WeWork, Uber, Tesla. There's a gold rush for cryptocurrency, which I've covered. And then the gold rush right now is companies trying to figure out what can we squeeze out of this casino called AI. I do not care about value. I do not care whose life is ended as a result. What number is going to hit and will I profit from it? So that's one bubble. The other bubble is I think it is possible that we've already sort of exceeded the cap of AI's capabilities given the compute power we're willing to contribute to it right now. Right now, it seems like AI is hallucinating at a rate that is making it completely unreliable for most of what I need it to do. Like anytime I get it to do anything for me, I spent just as much time editing that because of inaccuracies as I would have spent generating the thing myself to begin with. And I think that maybe we've hit peak AI without burning down more and more rainforests by exercising more GPU power to do all the processing you need to do to make it more accurate. So I feel like those are the two paths along which I think it is either we call it a bubble, call it overextended, call it just like we are in a bunch of rich people's casinos right now. And I'm trying to make sure that I'm defending myself against it affecting me personally.
Interesting. I don't necessarily disagree with it either. I kind of
Yeah.
agree with you. It is kind of this thing where the trend in tech is always going to be where the VCs want to put their money, right? That's going to get the buzz. This one seemed to go beyond it in a way because it was kind of happening all at the same time,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
It seemed to happen overnight. And we were the VCs, right? In a way, we were the ones who were experimenting with ChatGPT. It was very word of mouth. It was like none of the others really happened that way, at least that I
Yeah.
can recall.
So the question is, like you said, is it just affecting us in tech or is it extending out beyond the boundaries? I'm starting to think maybe it's not. What do you think, Evelyn?
Well,
Yeah.
and was that intentional? Was that an intentional marketing play? And is the bubble that Jason's describing a result of like a word of mouth intentional marketing play that happened that had sort of limits to where it spread? Because I guarantee you that if the people who want to make money off of this stuff wanted to get it out to individuals in other lines of work, they would, all right? Like they would use their marketing skills to get it out to those people of interest and those people would know about it and it would be in their everyday lives. So how much of it is intentionally being kept in this sort of tech sector or I think it's beyond just tech, but the AI bubble that Jason described, like how much of that is intentional? Because if we wanted to reach whoever, we would. We cold call them, right?
Yeah, it
Right,
feels
right.
like when ChatGPT first came out, it was very much word of mouth amongst in tech and talking to people. Hey, have you checked this out? Have you tried this? And then it became solutions for developers. It was all about the code. All of a sudden, everything that we heard about, examples that we saw, all the use case applications that were being spread on Twitter like wildfire, were all use cases for developers. And I think that's really interesting because they knew their market. And what you started hearing in the news was, oh my God, now my 16-year-old high school student is going to start using ChatGPT to get their homework done because kids are always on the forefront of this kind of stuff too. But then that went away too. That kind of waned. I don't know. I don't know. I don't pretend to know the answer to this one. It is a theory of mine that I just started thinking about, like, how important is it really, especially when I talk to people outside the tech industry? It doesn't
Yeah.
seem
Yeah.
to be taken all that seriously. It's still something of the future and not now.
Is this the case of AI being wrapped in other things though?
Hmm.
Because for example, literal like essay editing softwares and things that now use AI, there are things that people all over the world are using in every industry that are being backed by these language models and things that we call AI, and they just might not know about it. And it's so like maybe software developers need to know how, like, what Java is, but a lot of people just reap the benefits of Java when they're cruising through their apps or whatever. That's a bad example, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it is everywhere, but it's not on the surface the same way it is in the bubble.
Yeah. And I think certain sectors, AI is being used as more than just an LLM. And in those cases, there are legit use cases and applications, like in the healthcare industry, where it's changing the world, saving lives, right? All the data that can be extracted and allowing doctors to, like, figure out symptoms of patients. And I mean, it's just absolutely amazing what they can do with predictive analytics and all these things that are different than the LLM application of AI. And that
Yeah.
is different.
It's nice to see real innovations coming out of some of it for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
I agree with that. I'm just pointing out that like those doctors who might be using it, they're not going, let me ask AI or wow, is AI going to be a thing? Well, they might be. I mean, I do think those conversations are happening. But I think for a lot of people, the biggest change for them is going to be when they're using, hey, let me check WebMD Pro, what Lite, or whatever the name of this software that's going to have the AI in the background. They're not going to call it AI. It's not going to be like on the surface. So I think
Yeah.
it's going to be pervasive in their conversations. They are going to say, wow, that really helped my patient, but they might not necessarily accredit it to the rise of AI because it might not be on the surface. I can see where very soon a lot of search engines are probably going to be straight up like AI, right? Like you're going to go to whatever.com where you would normally ask, like, is Domino's open today? And it's going to respond to you with more than just like a list of websites. And at that point, everybody will be using AI. And will they be saying, like, wow, AI is so great? They'll just be saying, like, wow, these updates to Schmoogle, my search engine, I'm really digging it. I don't know.
I just know it would be great if something were to make Google as good as it was 20 years ago. Because I miss Google. I miss
Yeah.
Google being a good search engine. It
Abs-
was a great tool, and it would be great if billions and billions of AI got us back to the point where we were in the early 2000s.
Yes,
Fantastic.
totally. I think it's, to double down on what sectors, because I think that would be kind of cool to talk about, like, the various sectors and the importance that maybe AI and also LLM, almost calling it two different things, just because I think outside of tech, it is two different things to many people.
Mm.
It's almost like we're
Yeah.
talking about two areas. The difference between machine learning, I guess, and LLMs. And even though that's also utilizing some machine learning, I think there are differences clearly. So, and I'm no AI expert. I've talked to a lot of people in AI through my work as a podcast hoster of AI Time Journal, but I don't pretend to know what I'm talking about. I just know people who know what they're talking about. And I think the biggest areas that are clearly going to be influenced besides healthcare is customer service. That's obviously an area that's going to be impacted. I would say that my entertainment friends thing that entertainment is, I would argue that it's not, mainly because the quality, to Marcus's point, Actually, I'll give you one other example of an area that people might think is, but won't be, perhaps. Again, all conjecture. And feel free to write in and tell me why I'm not making any sense. I love hearing that. Is banking and financial services or insurance. I'll give you an example. I was at dinner with a higher ranking engineer at a conference. We were at dinner and we were talking about AI. And we were talking about all of our different products and how they were going to incorporate AI and what are you doing to incorporate AI? And I was talking to the person at Grammarly and they were telling me all the cool things that they were going to do with AI, which by the way, I use constantly.
There's
They
a
do an
lot to be done there. Yeah.
amazing job with
Yeah. That's
AI.
good stuff.
Great
Yeah.
job. And to this person, congrats, because it's a raging success. He's like, we're never going to have AI because we cannot, like, could you imagine? Cool. The predictive AI told me to put all my money on this and then it missed. It's like, this just sounds like a major lawsuit.
I have all of my stuff being run by AI right now. So I don't know if
Your
that
investments.
Mhm.
Your investments are run by
Everything's
AI?
done by AI. Yeah.
Who are you using?
I have
I
so many
can't
questions.
say, but my guy was asking me, like, before I hit the button, like, are you sure you want everything run by AI? I think it's a really good solution. And I was like, talking like Marvel multiverses. There is no universe where Evelyn goes and learns everything that I need to learn to do all of this stuff adequately from scratch. There are only multiverses where I pick one of the various AI tools to do this for me. So I was like, my argument is like, hey, I'm here talking to you. We've gone over the pros and cons of your system. Let's go ahead and hit the button. But there was not a universe in my mind where there's an alternative Evelyn somewhere where she's like grinding through investment books and like learning how to do all that. So kudos to people who do that, but I have
And to see the third option to have a professional
Yeah.
do that for you.
Like a
my
real human being.
professional suggested this as an option. So
They used to do that and they still do manage
Yeah.
your portfolio. To me, that's risky. I don't know. I'm shocked that a financial institution, maybe they're doing, maybe I need to read up more on it, but I'm shocked that they're doing that mainly because I feel like it does present a liability that wasn't there when a human being, of course, that you're hedging your bets there, but to have a computer do it is really interesting to me.
The thing to me is that there's a little bit of a missed opportunity. I would not consent to have an AI choose stocks for me. However, there's a lot generative AI could do to help me. I was at AWS reInvent. And I think I've told the story a couple of times how this person said there's going to be a lot of industries that are replacing their UI with a prompt. And we're not going to create this experience for you anticipating what we think you want. We're going to let you ask us questions. So I can imagine going to another financial advisor like Schwab and saying, how much exactly did I spend going to tiki bars in between November and December last year? Because I was running a little bit short on money and I wanted to figure out how much an impact tiki had on that. Now I can do that kind of searching, but it would take me a really long time to figure out how to search for the 9 different tiki bars that I went to those 2 months. And so, like, I want to be able to throw it at generative AI and say, help me do some analysis. And that's what I think so many people who are in this space get wrong about where AI lives. People want to have it do the job of the human when it's like, no, I want you to do the job of the appliance that is going to tell me what happened. Don't help me make the decision. Tell me what happened after the decision was made and the rest of the stuff happened. I want analysis. I don't want the decision.
I agree with you. I would posit, and I don't have any evidence to this, so callers tell me if I'm wrong, but I would posit that in these finance schools where people are learning to make the decisions that the type that you wouldn't leave up to AI personally, Marcus, that those people are being taught how to create and read models to make those decisions, like graphs and charts and data and things. And they're becoming so much more in depth with reading these charts and modeling everything out that the delta between having a person do it and having an AI do it is going to become very, very, very small, anyways. And again, like you've said, there's risk, but I don't think those decisions are made even by humans the same way they were 50 years ago. And I think the delta is smaller than thinking about it.
Yeah, it's a great point. It's a great point.
Because when we do these podcasts and we have access to the internet, unlike our live episode, when I felt very handcuffed by the fact that I didn't have the internet in front of me to be able to look stuff up as we're talking. It's really interesting. They actually have a page where you can read more about the opportunities and risks of AI in wealth management. They have a white paper. They actually also throw out this number: 6 in 10 financial advisors already use or are interested in using ChatGPT, which is interesting. So there you go as to its usage. It doesn't look like they have a product that they have. They partner with Catchlight, which uses AI to strategically grow your business with a lead optimization tool for financial advisors, and then Safer, which is used to quickly identify potential brand inconsistencies and compliance risks using AI. We do this outside of anything that we do as saucelabs. This is just Jason talking about his experience, but really interesting how that industry is incorporating AI and the others too. But I don't think we talk about it.
But you were like, these are some industries that I don't think are going to affect AI that much. I was immediately like, hey, by the way, it's already kind of happening.
No, I think it will impact the
Oh.
industries. I just think they might not be as open to it. Like teaching, there are these industries that are just the mainstays. They're the OGs. They're the ones that have these infrastructures that are so hard to penetrate. And that's where I'm really curious about its making its way into usage.
I was on LinkedIn the other day and I saw somebody write this very matter of fact post saying that he didn't think anyone should write resumes using AI, like get help with AI to write resumes. And one of his points was like, well, you're also getting hired on like your communication skills and all that, and you need to be able to represent yourself and all of these things. And a lot of people in the comments were agreeing with this person. I tended to disagree just because I don't think that your ability to do that always resonates with the type of job that you're applying for. Like being able to write an awesome resume doesn't necessarily mean that you can't do certain jobs. Just like being able to interview doesn't mean that you can't do certain jobs. And also, if people might not speak English as a first language, people might be
Yeah.
coming from different educational backgrounds and might be trying to change their stars and things. And so, talking about industries, I was really surprised to see that out of anyone talking about HR and things, because I think AI is a really great use case for a lot of those areas, but maybe a place where people might resist.
I mean, intersectionally, that's a very privileged position to take. It's troubling because I was thinking about, like my kid who's trying to go find a job at a restaurant and they want him to provide a resume. I'm like, why would you need a resume for that? Like, just like, here's a high school I'm still going to. Why do you need the formality of a sheet of paper that has like 3 pieces of information on it? It just seems weird that we're still stuck on resumes at all. Anyway, I support the use of AI, but I also think you're always going to go through and edit it, right? You're gonna put your own eyes on it and look at it.
I was going to say that's the other piece is we got to continue to be able to flex that muscle, use that muscle. Otherwise it atrophies. And for at least myself, the only thing that I worry about with my use of AI, because I love using LLMs as a way to unblock. I think it's a great way to remove writer's block. I told a friend, I'm like, writer's block should never exist anymore. Like it just doesn't exist. You got an idea, you type it in, it'll outline it and give you some more ideas. It's fantastic for that.
But it's a good rubber duck.
It's a good rubber duck.
Agreed. I have a writing project I'm stuck on, and I didn't even think to use ChatGPT.
Oh, it's great. It's
Facebook
so
never,
good.
is completely blocked all week.
You don't need to be blocked. This is a thing that does not need to happen anymore. Like you just don't need it. You don't need to be blocked.
That is its greatest contribution to my personal
It
life.
is.
I don't count on it to do anything final. It's good at drafting and it's good at outlining and it's good at helping me brainstorm. It's fantastic.
Yeah. And to me, that's its best use right now. If you're using it to write for you, if you're like using it to write A to Z everything, man, I worry because the quality's not there. You're losing that ability to flex your muscle of creative writing and writing in general. Like I think we all need to just continuously practice that constantly. Otherwise you do lose it. But yeah, I think it's got that clear use case of like, you will never need to have writer's block again.
And to take it to its logical conclusion, if you do it to do the final writing, and then you publish that final writing, and then you've got AI generated writing that's on the internet that Google's robots are now going out and spidering out to do SEO. So it's just bots reading bots.
Yes.
And we're all just obviated at that point. It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, don't publish.
Who owns it? Yeah, totally. No, this was good. This was good conversation. We kind of went around about, but that's kind of the way we do things on here. And thank you for participating and humoring me in having this conversation about this wild theory. I think it wasn't that wild, we learned, but it was correct in some ways and incorrect in others. I think we'll agree to disagree. No, I don't know where we're landing. I guess we'll find out in time. That's really the only thing that we that will be the judge of this ultimately, is where we end up.
Review this episode in a year.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
let's bookmark this. Bookmark this. Also, if you have a different point of view, let us know. We want to know. We love to hear why we're wrong or why we're right. I especially love to hear why I'm right. No, I'm just kidding. No, please write us. It's community-hub@saucelabs.com. Write in the comments field here on YouTube, or shoot us an email or what have you, and let us know what you think about this episode and what you think about the topic. Thank you to Evelyn and to Marcus. As always, thank you for listening to us and giving us your time. And we will see you on the next episode of Test Case Scenario. Thank you for joining us on Test Case Scenario. Share your thoughts in the comments. We'll make sure to respond to each and every single one. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to keep in touch. If you missed our last episode, it's popping up on your screen right now. Go, click it. Until next time on Test Case Scenario.